As a brain doctor, I'm shocked. These 9 vitamins raises stroke risk overnight. I once witnessed a 76-year-old woman, completely healthy, collapse in the middle of the night with no one understanding why. No stroke on scans, no injury, no warning sign. But when I saw the bottle of vitamins she had been taking every night, I felt my chest tighten. Have you ever considered that the very thing you trust to protect you might actually be harming you from the inside? I am a neurologist, and I need you to hear this. There are at least 9 vitamins and minerals that millions of people over 60 take every day, and if taken the wrong way, they can increase the risk of stroke while you sleep. You think coffee is what's keeping you awake at night? No. What you're about to hear will change the way you look at every single pill in your medicine cabinet. And the first one is something almost everyone is still swallowing every morning. Can you guess what it is?
1. Vitamin D, believed to protect bones but can trigger stroke. Walter, 74, was proud of never having to go to the hospital. He lived healthily, walking every morning, eating plenty of vegetables, and taking one high-dose vitamin D pill, 10,000 IUs, every day. He believed it was the key to strong bones and protection from fractures. But one morning, he woke up with half his body numb, his mouth drooping, his words slurred. Doctors diagnosed a stroke caused by a blocked blood vessel in his brain. You might think the cause was age or high blood pressure, but no. He had no major underlying conditions. Blood tests, however, showed abnormally high calcium levels, and his arteries were beginning to calcify. Where was the problem? In the seemingly harmless vitamin D pill he had been taking for 3 straight years. A major meta-analysis of over 24 randomized controlled trials concluded vitamin D does not reduce stroke risk as many believe. In fact, when taken in excess, it can cause calcium to deposit in the arterial walls, leading to atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, and ultimately, stroke. Even Time magazine has warned that doses above 4,000 IUs per day without a doctor's supervision may do more harm than good. The most dangerous part? Many people take vitamin D without ever testing their blood. They hear it's good for bones and keep swallowing it endlessly. Are you taking vitamin D daily? Do you even know what your D3 blood level is? And more importantly, are you sure the pill you trust every morning isn't silently building up trouble inside your body, day by day? But if you think vitamin D is concerning, wait until you hear about the next one. It can cause stroke in a completely different way, and it's directly tied to the blood thinners that so many older adults are prescribed every single day. 2. Vitamin E. Good for the heart, but can trigger a brain hemorrhage. Evelyn, 81, was a gentle, slender woman who often said, "I don't want to trouble anyone. As long as my heart stays strong, that's enough." She began taking vitamin E after reading that it protects the heart. Aside from her blood thinner, Warfarin, she wasn't on much else. Every day, she took 1 capsule of vitamin E, 800 IUs. Until one afternoon, while reading a book, the words suddenly blurred. A sharp pain exploded in her head, and then everything went white. Brain hemorrhage. No fall, no accident. The blood had poured into our brain from the inside. Did you know that vitamin E, though famous as an antioxidant, can raise the risk of brain hemorrhage by up to 22% when taken in high doses, especially alongside blood thinners like aspirin or warfarin? A major meta-analysis confirmed this clearly. The troubling part? Vitamin E is included in most senior multivitamins, often without clear dosage control. In older adults, blood vessels are already fragile, bleeding risk is higher, and the combination of high-dose vitamin E plus anticoagulants is nothing less than a ticking time bomb.
But have you ever checked how many IUs of vitamin E are hiding in your daily pills? Evelyn survived, but after the hemorrhage, she could no longer read small print, nor prepare her morning tea by herself. Every action slowed, as if her quiet dream of a peaceful old age had been shattered by the flood of blood in her brain. Are you on heart medication or blood thinners? And could you be unknowingly adding one last drop that your fragile vessels cannot endure? Because the next vitamin, commonly found in memory-boosting supplements, may rob you of something even more fundamental: your ability to walk with balance. 3. Vitamin B6, nerve toxicity that steals your balance. Harold was once a strong man, a retired engineer who tended his garden with pride. At 78, he began noticing memory lapses, forgetting the names of his tools, misplacing familiar objects. A friend advised, "B6 helps improve memory. You should take it daily." So Harold bought a bottle, 200 milligram capsules, each one small as a bean. He took one every morning. At first, he felt sharper, more alert, for a few weeks. But soon, something felt wrong. His steps down the hallway seemed unsteady. His legs no longer sensed the ground beneath them. One day, as he bent to tie his shoelaces, he lost his balance and fell, slamming his back against a stone bench. A neurologist later diagnosed him with peripheral neuropathy, nerve damage caused by chronic vitamin B6 toxicity. Did you know that even though vitamin B6 is water-soluble, when taken in high doses, it can actually destroy the myelin sheath that protects your nerves, leading to numbness, tingling, pins and needles sensations, and if prolonged, the damage can become permanent. The cruel irony is, these symptoms are often mistaken for just normal aging. A warning from the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration, TGA, clearly states even doses as low as 50 to 100 milligrams per day can cause toxicity if taken over time. Yet countless people take B6 from multiple sources, multivitamins, memory boosters, and brain health supplements, without ever adding up the total dose. Today, Harold must walk with a cane. He still tends his garden, but slowly, carefully, always watching his feet as if he no longer fully trusts them. Are you monitoring the total amount of vitamin B6 you consume each day? And if you've noticed tingling in your hands or feet, are you sure it's just age? Vitamin A, from eye support to a fake brain tumor. Dorothy, 79, lived alone in a small apartment, her medicine shelf neatly organized like a mini library. She believed in taking charge of her health, and one thing she had kept up for 5 years was vitamin A, because older people must keep their eyes strong. Every night before bed, she swallowed a 10,000 IU capsule, then read her book under a soft yellow lamp. Until one evening, the words suddenly blurred. Her head pounded as if struck with a hammer. A ringing filled her ears. She could feel the pulse inside her skull pounding with each beat. She thought she had a brain tumor, but when the MRI results came back, there was no tumor at all. What she had was idiopathic intracranial hypertension, IIH, a dangerous syndrome that mimics a brain tumor, causing severe headaches, vision problems, and a crushing pressure inside the skull. And the culprit? Excess vitamin A builds up silently over time. Did you know that vitamin A is one of the easiest vitamins to accumulate in the body? Unlike water-soluble vitamins like B or C, vitamin A is fat-soluble, stored in the liver for long periods. That means even if you stop taking it, it lingers, quietly, dangerously. A report from Brazil's medical system documented multiple cases of IIH after just a few months of daily doses between 10,000 and 25,000 IU. The real danger? Vitamin A is also hidden in many beauty supplements, sold for skin, hair, and eyes. Few people ever add up their total daily intake. Dorothy didn't go blind, but she could no longer read comfortably. Her eyes felt strained, aching constantly. She told me, "I took it so I could see better, but it ended up making me unable to see at all." Are you taking vitamin A without knowing your exact dose? And have you ever felt that dull, unexplained pressure in your head?
5. Niacin, vitamin B3, when good for the heart, turns into mini-strokes. Frank, 82, was a meticulous man. After one blood test showed slightly elevated cholesterol, he decided against taking statins, afraid of side effects. Instead, he chose niacin, vitamin B3, because he heard it was natural and heart-friendly. One 2,000 milligram pill every evening, faithfully, for nearly a year. Everything seemed fine, until one morning, while making coffee, his hand began to tremble. Seconds later, his mouth refused to form words, as if locked shut. His vision blurred, his heart pounded. A few minutes later, it all passed, but Frank knew something was terribly wrong. Doctors diagnosed it as a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. Yes, niacin can lower cholesterol, but recent research from the U.S. National Institutes of Health, NIH, shows that when metabolized excessively, vitamin B3 can inflame blood vessels, damage the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of arteries, and thereby raise the risk of heart attack and stroke. Those flushing episodes after taking niacin, they're not just uncomfortable, they're signs of sudden vasodilation, making blood pressure swing wildly and unpredictably. Frank later learned he had been taking more than 20 times the recommended safe dose. He never realized that the nightly flush of heat across his face was his body's desperate warning. Are you taking vitamin B3 to lower cholesterol? Have you ever felt your face burning, your heart racing, and brushed it off as just age? If one pill is quietly thinning your blood vessels, do you really want to keep taking it? Because the next vitamin may not only weaken your vessels, it can actually cancel out the effectiveness of your blood thinner and put you at silent risk of a stroke without you ever knowing.
6. Vitamin K, the silent saboteur if you're on blood thinners. Eleanor, 84, took Warfarin daily to prevent strokes caused by atrial fibrillation. She was careful. Low salt, daily walks, no aspirin, no alcohol. She also believed in clean eating and smart supplementation. So alongside her 3 meals of leafy greens, she took one senior multivitamin capsule every day. One week during her routine blood test, her INR, the measure of how well her blood was being thinned, spiked unexpectedly. Her doctor adjusted the Warfarin dose. A few weeks later, her INR plummeted. Then one night, while asleep, Eleanor woke up with half her face numb. Luckily, it was a mild stroke. The cause stunned her doctors: the vitamin K hidden in her daily multivitamin. Vitamin K itself isn't evil. It's essential for clotting. But when you're on Warfarin or similar blood thinners, extra vitamin K swings the balance wildly. Too much and your medication fails. Your blood clots when it shouldn't, leading to stroke. Too little and your blood becomes dangerously thin, risking bleeding in the brain. Eleanor, unknowingly, had been sabotaging her own treatment every day. Are you taking Warfarin, Eliquis, or another blood thinner? And have you checked whether your multivitamin contains vitamin K? Because that tiny line on a label could decide whether your medication protects you or betrays you in the middle of the night. Did you know that just a few hundred micrograms of vitamin K a day, whether from food or supplements, can be enough to destabilize the effect of blood thinners like Warfarin? Vitamin K regulates clotting, and any fluctuation in your intake can raise the risk of uncontrolled blood clots or abnormal bleeding in the brain. The danger is this: vitamin K is hidden in countless healthy foods such as kale, spinach, and broccoli. And many people don't realize that popular multivitamins also contain vitamin K, even if the label doesn't list the dosage in a clear, easy-to-understand way. Are you taking blood thinners? Do you keep track of how much vitamin K you consume daily? And could it be that your super green dinner or the supplement you trust is quietly tipping the balance of blood in your body? Because the next vitamin doesn't make you bleed or clot, it robs your brain of the ability to cry for help at the right time.
7. Folic acid, B9, hiding nerve damage caused by B12 deficiency. Carol, 77, was a graceful woman who lived alone after her husband's passing, always reminding herself, "I must stay sharp so I don't become a burden to my children." When she began forgetting her daughter's name during a phone call, she panicked. She went to the pharmacy and bought folic acid because everyone said B9 improves memory and slows brain aging. She took it daily, faithfully, hoping to keep Alzheimer's at bay. But after just 3 months, her memory did not improve. In fact, she began stumbling, her hands trembled lightly, and many nights she struggled to put her thoughts into words. After extensive testing, doctors discovered she had a severe vitamin B12 deficiency, so severe that nerve damage had already begun and some of it was irreversible. The shocking twist? The high doses of folic acid she had been taking each day had completely masked the early symptoms of B12 deficiency. Did you know that folic acid and B12 both work in nerve function, but when your body is low on B12 and overloaded with B9, the warning signs are blurred, leaving you believing you're fine until it's too late? A clinical report from the Mayo Clinic warned folic acid can disguise itself as improvement, while in reality accelerating nerve damage caused by undiagnosed B12 deficiency. Folic acid is found in countless memory boosters, energy pills, and multivitamins. Yet no one tells you that you must test your B12 levels before taking it long-term. Are you taking a brain booster pill? Have you ever had your B12 levels checked? And if you are quietly accelerating nerve damage without even knowing, is that tiny pill in the morning truly harmless? Because the next vitamin, so harmless that almost everyone takes it during cold and flu season, may harm your kidneys directly and indirectly push you towards stroke.
8. Vitamin C, kidney stones and silent kidney damage from high doses. Alan, 79, lives in Arizona, where the dry winter air always made him fear catching colds. For more than a year, he took 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily in fizzy orange-flavored tablets that dissolved instantly in water. He believed it kept his immune system ready for anything. But recently, he began feeling a dull ache in his lower back, waking up often at night to urinate, and noticing unexplained blood pressure swings. For the first time in his life, he was diagnosed with early kidney dysfunction, something he never imagined. Did you know that in high doses, vitamin C doesn't just get flushed out, it breaks down into oxalate, a compound that can crystallize into kidney stones. These crystals, if they accumulate, can block kidney tubules, trigger inflammation, and cause permanent damage. A Harvard study reported that people who took more than 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily had double the risk of kidney stones compared to those who took lower doses. Even worse, chronic kidney damage is directly linked to high blood pressure and an increased risk of stroke, especially in older adults. What you thought was a harmless fizzy pill every morning may, over months, be exhausting your kidneys and weakening your blood vessels. Alan shared that after he stopped taking high-dose vitamin C, his back pain eased significantly. But what worried him most was this: he had no clear symptoms until the damage had already begun. Do you take vitamin C daily just to be safe?
Do you drink enough water to flush out the excess? And if a pill you take only to ward off colds ends up planting a time bomb in your kidneys, do you still want to keep the habit? 9. Magnesium, the relaxing mineral that can lead to dangerous falls. Richard, 85, was proud of keeping a steady routine. Waking at 6 a.m., reading the paper, eating breakfast, going for a walk. But after losing his wife, his sleep became shallow and restless, the long nights of loneliness making him weary. A friend suggested magnesium. It relaxes you, helps you sleep, and it's not addictive like sleeping pills. So Richard began taking 600 milligrams each night, hoping to find peace in sleep again. In the first week, it worked. He slept more soundly. But by the third week, things changed. One morning, he woke up feeling slightly dizzy. As he stepped into the bathroom, a wave of vertigo struck and he fell. His head slammed against the sink. Thankfully, he remained conscious, but his temple bruised dark purple, and he suddenly feared the reality of living alone. Magnesium is essential, but it strongly dilates blood vessels and can cause sudden drops in blood pressure, especially when taken at night by older adults or those on antihypertensives. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that magnesium doses above 400 milligrams per day increased the risk of falls by 34% in seniors, particularly when taken close to bedtime. Richard hadn't taken the wrong medicine. He simply didn't know that an aging body processes slower, and what relaxes can also drop blood pressure too far during sleep, leaving the brain short of oxygen and the body dizzy upon waking. Are you taking magnesium to sleep better? Have you ever felt lightheaded standing up at night? And if a pill meant to relax you ends up causing a broken hip, brain injury, or the loss of your independence, do you still think it's harmless? Because the greatest danger is not which vitamin you take, but the fact that you may not truly know what you're putting into your body each day.
A cabinet full of vitamins, but empty sleep. Do you remember the elderly woman I told you about at the start of this video? The one who faithfully believed in her healthy vitamins, yet suddenly collapsed in the night with no one understanding why? She wasn't wrong for trying to care for herself. But what she and millions of older adults don't realize is this. After 60, your body no longer processes vitamins the way it did at 30 or 40. We swallow these pills with the hope of living healthier, living longer, but the result? Still waking up 3-4 times a night, still feeling headaches, numb legs, fatigue, and all too often still ending up in the hospital for reasons no one can quite explain. Could it be that the problem is not simply old age, but the very things we thought were protecting us? One woman once asked me during a checkup, "I've taken vitamins for 10 years, so why do I feel weaker every year?" That question haunted me. And the more I examined patients, the more I studied, the more I understood, supplements aren't always good by default. They must be the right kind, in the right dose, for the right body. Do you really need every single bottle sitting in your cabinet? Do you know exactly what they contain, how they interact with each other, and whether your doctor has ever reviewed that list with you? Margaret, an 80-year-old patient of mine, used to take 7 different vitamins every day. After we carefully reviewed them together, she kept only 2. Within weeks, she slept more deeply, her morning dizziness disappeared, and, most importantly, she felt lighter, both in body and in spirit. Old age doesn't demand more things. It demands clarity, knowing what your body truly needs and what needs to stop. If you've been taking one of the 9 I shared today, or if someone you love is, leave a comment with the number 1. And if this video made you rethink your vitamin cabinet, share it, because you may have just saved someone from something no pill could ever fix in time.